What's up, brewskis? My name is Marco Dupa, and with me, as always, it's the great and powerful Adam Obesius Rodriguez.
Yeah, buddy.
Tonight's brew is brought to you by the good folks at Bierstadt. It is their Helles, and Obi's going to have a little bit more about that after the break. What's on tap for tonight? Well, if you've been living under a rock, you may not have known, but a little artist called Beyonce just released the sequel or second act to what I guess is, I don't know, a trilogy.
I was going to say, is it going to be a three-parter?
It does. She hasn't really announced. I mean, Renaissance was not even billed as Act 1 until this second album was billed as Act 2. And then
maybe we're doing it as we go along.
Probably.
See how far we can take this thing.
Seems like it.
See how many genres she can tackle.
See how many genres she can invade and make all the people who live there feel uncomfortable with her blackness. We're going to talk about Cowboy Carter and the reception that it's received. Music. Good and bad.
Yeah.
What else do we got, Obi?
Oh, we also have a newly announced sequel to The Matrix Part 4.
Talking about sequels.
So yeah, they're Warner Bros. Great company it is. Clearly making no mistakes. I just announced that there will be a new Matrix movie helmed by director Drew Goddard. So we're going to talk about that, whether we think that bodes well for a series that's, I won't say overstay its welcome, but...
I will.
Okay.
And I love the movies, but...
Yeah. We'll get into it.
And last but not least, this weekend is WrestleMania. And we're going to ignore all the negativity and bad stuff that's come out over the past couple of months with this company. And we're just going to talk about pure, beautiful wrestling. Yeah. We're going to give our predictions.
Some sports entertainment.
Night 1 and night 2 of the biggest night in sports entertainment. All right, but we can't do any of that until we get into this podcast and these beers. So let's go ahead and do that right now. This is episode 420.
Blaze it.
Of the One Beer In podcast.
They're not visionaries like us. That's the problem.
That's absolutely right.
Cheers to that.
Cheers. Oh, boy. Can I already tell you what? That's a beer drinking beer right there. I tell you what.
There's good beer there.
That right there is beer drinking beer.
Yep.
All right.
Yep.
This is the One Beer In podcast, the podcast where two brews crack open a brew, and we see where that one brew takes us.
Yeah, buddy.
All right, episode 420. I'm Marco. That's Obi. Let's get cracking. And when I say cracking, I mean a whip cracking. I had to try to bring it back to Cowboy Carter. A whip a cracking.
I know we took a break last week, but you got to keep remembering. I got to talk about this beer.
Oh shit. Sorry. Every time. If we go 1 week without me introducing.
We did a one reel in last week. If you didn't realize, go back and watch that. Thank you, Rob, for joining us.
It was a great episode.
It was a great episode. Yeah, I'm really happy about that one. We talked all about Dune Part 2.
Dune 2.
So if you're interested in that, pause this one, go back, watch, come back here.
Come back here and listen to Obi. Give us a little bit more about what we are drinking tonight.
This is the Bierstadt Helles, and on the can, we got nothing. But, excuse me, according to Bierstadtlager.com, Helles equals light. We get that color is an oversimplified way to describe a beer, and a Helles can often be dismissed as yellow and fizzy. What it should be is the purest expression of malt in any brewer's portfolio.
Wow.
Our Helles is around 5% ABV, so it shouldn't leave you unable to defend your views on politics and religion. We often, that's good for us. We often find those topics are the only things worth talking about anyway. The people that say, quote, "You shouldn't discuss such matters because it's rude. Aren't drinking enough Helles."
Why was that so politically loaded? What was that about? That was
I can't tell you.
really weird description for the beer. It had nothing to do with the beer itself. That just like ruin everyone's night.
Yeah.
And
Just
drink this beer.
Get drunk enough so you can talk about politics.
You can be clear-headed enough to say what you really think.
There is a more info button, which I just clicked, and it goes as follows. Everybody's lager. Walk into any Munich beer hall, and you will see 90% of the people drinking one thing, Helles lager. When people ask for, quote, beer-flavored beer, Helles is what they want. The battle for beer superiority has raged for over the last 125 years, and pale lager won. In fact, Helles was so effective in its pursuit, it almost rendered all other beer styles obsolete. We recommend drinking a liter to get a true appreciation of its majesty.
They recommend you drinking a liter? What's going on with these people?
They're drinking enough Helles. That's what they're doing. So, yeah, that's what we got from Bierstadt. Bierstadt out of Denver, Colorado.
Okay.
Coming in at a, according to the can, 4.9% ABV. They say on the website about 5%.
Yeah, 4.9.
Give or take. Yeah. Give or take. Yeah.
All right. Now let's whip crack into the podcast about Cowboy Carter, the second in what is presumably a trilogy of albums from the Queen Bee, Beyonce Carter. Cowboy Carter, her foray into country music. So during the Super Bowl, the big game, if you will, she had this ad. I think it was a Verizon ad.
Yeah, I think so too.
Where she was just like, I can be anything. I can do anything. And
we're going to go to the moon. Or,
yeah, I'm be a streamer. And then they were like, oh, it's actually a real account on Twitch.
Yeah.
That she doesn't use or whatever. And it was like, all right.
We talked a little bit about how like listless that ad was.
It was very silly.
Yeah.
But the one good thing that did come from it was she debuted 16 Carriages and Texas Hold'em, the two lead singles to the album. And it gave everybody a very quick and sharp look into the sound of this new album.
Right.
So Renaissance came out like, what, 2 years ago maybe, or a year and a half ago, 2 years ago?
2022.
And it was basically a 90s... It was a tribute to house music, 90s dance music.
Done Beyonce style.
Yeah. I think Renaissance is incredible. I think most of her albums are incredible, though. Let's just get this out the way right now. I'm in the Bayhive, okay? I'm in the Beehive. I love Beyonce. Yeah. So maybe some of this is going to be a little slanted. I'm going to try to be as biased as possible because, you know, some of this is just... Well, we'll get into it. But
we should say ahead of time, neither of us have finished the album yet.
Yeah.
So we're going.
I'm not that big of a fan.
Apparently, we're going based off of first impressions, if you will.
We've both listened to about half of the album.
Sure. Yeah. And I will say, just for background here, Renaissance is my favorite Beyonce album. Easily, but I think we talked about this on the show before too. It's because it is indicative and referential to a style of music I really love. Yeah. So I really love that like old school house dance music. Yeah. So spoke to me personally. Yeah. Less of a country fan, but gave it a go anyway because it's Beyonce.
I do like country music. Like outlaw country, hipster country, basically 70s stuff, outlaw stuff.
Sturgill Simpson.
Yeah. I feel like Chris Stapleton. That's an obvious choice, but I did listen to like all of his albums. I like that guy.
Sure.
Like
good
I'm
voice.
not gonna run down.
Good voice.
Well, but I could. Waylon Jennings.
Waylon.
Got our boy Willie Nelson, who pops up on this album multiple times.
Yeah.
Dolly Parton pops up on this album multiple times. Okay, so let's get into this. Okay, for real.
Yeah.
The singles come out, and some people,
immediate outcry,
not happy about it, right?
Yeah, sure.
Honestly, from I would say a lot of different corners of her fan base and beyond, there were people who were surprised, but beyond, people were surprised by the direction that she was going in with the music.
Yeah.
There was those of us who were like, okay, like I personally wasn't a big fan of Texas Hold'em, but I did really love 16 Carriages, the other single. I thought this is Beyonce doing a different genre of music the Beyonce way. Texas Hold'em sounds like to me like a pop country song.
It's a pop country song.
I'm not a big fan of it.
I gotta say, Texas Hold'em grew on me. I like it better now in the context of the album.
I was just about to say, I think it only works with. I don't think it should have been the single. I think it works within the context of the album. If it was used as less important, maybe it would have had a better reception. Because it's just so obvious.
Yeah.
In the album, you're like, oh, this is a funny little thing to do in the middle of this album.
It's a little tongue in cheek.
Yeah.
Which you don't get from it being a single. And I think that's where some of the vitriol came from, was people like, what does Beyonce know about like going to a dive bar?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
When's the last time she spit on a dive bar?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, well, and there's the one line in the beginning where it's like, pull up your Lexus or park your Lexus, and people are like,
what?
That has nothing to do with cowboy culture. Park your Lexus. But see,
sure.
The thing is, what this is boiling down to, what a lot of the vitriol from then and the vitriol now is really just people who have co-opted this or believe that she is trying to co-opt some kind of culture or something that like even they themselves don't really live or believe in.
Sure.
And so the two singles come out, and there's backlash from people in the country community who are like, they don't think that Beyonce belongs in this genre. I think some of the hate for Beyonce is twofold. That there's the obvious thing is, you know, a black pop star trying to do country music is going to be met with
the biggest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then it's the other thing of like, there are a lot of people who view her as a talentless, you know, just a mega pop star.
Yeah, like a hollow pop fixture in the culture.
I mean, I've read hundreds and hundreds of comments on different pages, posts about the album and about her, and the general consensus is that there's this belief that she floats into a studio with like 100 people behind her.
Sure.
You know, people are like holding her hair up and like walking behind her, holding the train of her dress.
Yeah.
And she's just like, she just picks the 27 songs that she wants for the album, and then she's like, do that. And then she barely even sings the songs. It's this weird perception that a lot of pop artists get.
Well, especially like divas. Like the traditional diva artists, I feel.
They're believed to be like, you know, talentless hacks who, by studio wizardry, is the only reason that they're successful.
Right.
Which is just such a crazy. I don't even know if we have time to unpack everything that's wrong with the perception or reception that this album has gotten from certain people.
You can dislike Beyonce as an artist, but I don't think there's any way you can justify saying she's not an artist.
Or that she doesn't have any talent.
That's what I mean. Like she doesn't have talent after everything she's done.
After everything she's done.
I mean, I get if it's not like, if her voice isn't your forte, if you don't like her style of music, if you don't like, I mean, if you're a fan and you're not a big fan of this album in particular, like that's all understandable. But I just think you're on a different planet if you're saying Beyonce is a talentless hack.
Yeah.
You kidding me?
Yeah. I think I'm trying to be as unbiased as possible here. And in that respect, I do think that part of this comes from the fact that she is such a massive, massive star. I mean, she's so famous that when she does something, it garners so much attention, and I can understand why people who listen to country music, maybe solely listen to country music, will see her doing a country album or a country-esque album and see the kind of national and international attention that it gets and being resentful of Beyonce. I don't know. I mean, it's not Beyonce's fault that all of these news articles want to carry the story and want to talk about it. And then it's also not her fault that when she does release a country album and it smashes a bunch of records, it's like, what, you know. So, but I do get it. I do understand. Like, I get resentful when you know, certain artists jump into hip hop culture and then they're just like, yeah, we're gonna make a rap album or a hip hop esque album.
Yeah.
And then, but I think there are a lot of major differences between those two things.
Sure.
Number one being that Beyonce goes into this. First of all, she's from Texas.
Right.
She's probably listened to country music. Even if you don't want to believe this, even this is hitting your ears and you're going, no fucking way.
Downvote.
Yeah. I'm sorry, but she's allowed.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that she does. Whether you want to believe it or not, I'm sure she does.
Sure.
And not only that, but even just listening to parts of the album or half the album, you can just hear the subject matter at hand. I looked at some of the songwriters, some of the contributors, the featured guests, like the respect that she has for country as a genre and as a culture. I mean, you should only be if she's bolstering the culture and the genre, and maybe your response to that is like, hey, we don't need a Beyonce.
Yeah.
That's like, all right, man. I think we're just gonna, when it comes to the music
you
itself. Yeah, exactly.
Sorry,
yeah,
bud.
it's not going anywhere.
Yeah.
And also, I think like we're just gonna have to have a difference of opinion, because if the stuff that's at the top of the charts right now for country is what you want in country music, then I don't know what to tell you. It's just
sure. And on top of that, I think it's important to also underline the fact that, you know, a lot of the poppier songs on this album aren't any more poppy than what you hear on country radio nowadays.
Exactly. If anything, she's doing some of the big songs on here are exactly what you would think that they would want to hear.
Yeah, not from her.
Not from her.
Mm-mm.
And that's really the crux of this.
And I want to bring up too, I think what you said is absolutely true about there being a difference between like what Post Malone has done compared to like what she's doing now in country music.
Yeah.
Which is, she's, at least to my knowledge, never, you know, spoken down about country music.
No. She's spoken down about the unwelcomed feeling of when she tried to do country music or tried to dip her toe into it.
Yeah, it's not the same thing.
No, it's definitely, no, it's not. It's not even remotely the same thing. It's
Yeah.
the reality of what she's dealt with as a black artist trying to do country music, a black pop artist. There are black country music singers.
Oh, yeah.
There, and so this isn't, there is obviously a racial component to it. There's a misogynist component to it, and there's a misogynoir component to it. I don't know if you guys know that term, but you can Google it.
Is that French?
It is French.
Oh.
I've been taking French.
Nice.
Parlez-vous France?
Francie.
Francie.
Mm-hmm.
And basically, if you're not familiar, it's prejudice against black women. And I think a lot
It's
of
way
it
less fun than it just being French.
yeah.
Ooh, yikes.
The French, they know how to be mean in
do-
more
they
ways
do.
than one.
They really do.
And they can make it sound real sexy.
Yeah.
So there's all of these different components to this conversation that like you would be a fool to ignore and say like, hey, I just don't like the album. It's like, all right, you're welcome to do that. No one's saying that you don't have to like the album.
Right.
But I guess it depends on why you don't like the album. Like some of the stuff that some of these people are saying that I see people are saying is like, man, if you can't see if what's coming out of your mouth, if what you're typing up, you can't understand why someone else would read that and go, that's a little fucked up. That's not just not liking the album. That's really that's a shitty way of going about consuming this art. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah.
Because it's fucked up.
Sure. Yeah.
I mean, I look at it like, you know, it's 2024 and people are still treating artists like Beyonce like they treated fucking Ray Charles when he wanted to do a country album. Ray Charles did modern sounds and country and western, and people are like, who is this uppity jigaboo who did soul and R&B music And now he's going to do country music?
He can do country music?
Who the fuck does he think he is?
Does he think he's from Georgia or something?
And then when he smashed it and blew it out of the water and created one of the greatest country albums of all time,
we always loved
still held him. Exactly. Dude, and that's exactly the point that I'm trying to make.
Yeah.
If in 20, 30 years, we're going to look back on this and say like, oh yeah, Beyonce, remember when she did Cowboy Carter? What an incredible feat.
Yeah. And
everyone's going to conveniently ignore all of this shit that's happening right now. See, the only difference between now and then, though, is that we have record of all of these people and how they're reacting to this.
We got Twitter now.
Yeah. Back then, you could look up like old reviews and old news articles of people's, but not man on the street interviews of people going, you know, Beyonce deserves to die. You know what I mean? Like, so, and I also envision it like the same way people reacted to any big artist of the past couple of decades who got too big for their britches, if you will. Any diva, as you were saying before, the Aretha Franklins, the Mariah Careys, anytime that they blew past that bubble, that atmospheric limitation that we put on black women, then there's always that loud minority of people who are like, get back down here.
Yeah.
You don't get to blow past everyone else. You don't get to be that famous. Not without me coming around the corner and telling you how talentless you are.
Sure. Yeah, and I think you, if you are one of those people, I think you guys sit down for a second and realize these artists are in the place that they are of success for a reason.
Right.
And it's usually not just because they're a industry plant that was there in the right place in the right time.
Yeah.
At least not solely, you know?
I don't know how you don't look at Beyonce's career especially.
Yeah.
And not look at the organic evolution of everything that she's been through. I mean, she's been very vocal and very vulnerable and very open about her career trajectory, everything that's happened in her. She's been famous since she was fucking 16.
Yeah.
And one of the only people, honestly, if that's not talent, I don't know what is. She's been able to navigate being a pop star since she was in her teens.
Yeah, and seemingly not go insane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe, I mean, she's super mega famous and she's been famous for years, so she probably, let's just call a spade a spade, she probably doesn't have, she probably doesn't look at the real world anymore.
No,
but she's in the stratosphere. Everybody else is given the same kind of grace, or everyone else should be given. They all should be given that same kind of grace of like, of course, you're not going to be able to relate to this person. So maybe, okay, I can see maybe you're upset with like a little bit of pandering. Country music is seen as like the people's music. You know, down and dirty and dusty, blue collar country music. But then, let me say this, because I don't know. Maybe I need to jump on Reddit country.
You don't.
But I would like to know people's opinions on. I would like to know people's. The camera froze for a second. I would like to know people's opinions on, say, Florida Georgia Line and other pop country acts who take from hip hop and pop music and all these other genres and mash it together to make just the worst thing that I've ever heard in my life.
The worst combination of sounds.
And I would love to know, like, so if you are a country music fan and you are looking at, say, the Beyonce album the same way that I look at Florida Georgia Line, for instance, and we can connect on that conversation, okay, I think maybe we could have a conversation there, because there is a bit of, you know, inauthenticity.
Well, yes. Let me quick tangent, but I'm going to get back to that.
Okay.
I think the sort of biggest sin that Beyonce, I'm using sin in air quotes, that Beyonce has done in this album is that she doesn't do what a Florida Georgia Line would do, which is talk, even though they're not living this country lifestyle anymore, really, not blue collar anyway.
Yeah.
They're still talking about them pickup trucks. They're still talking about mudding and you know, finding a girl with tan lines because she's been out in the field all day.
Right.
You know, it is speaking to a lifestyle as opposed to speaking to their current lifestyle. Kind of in a way like a, you know, like a gangster rapper might, where they're talking about like old lived experiences,
right,
or a general lifestyle that they're trying to illustrate, not their current situation. You know,
yeah.
So where I think there is a disconnect is that Beyonce is talking about her Lexus.
Right.
Talking about and in
she's
some,
talking about her life.
Yeah, her life, and in some, I mean, in most ways, that's more authentic.
Yes,
because that's who she is.
Absolutely.
You know, today it would come off way more pandering if she's like, "Yeah, I just got out my pickup truck and got me a Bud Light."
Right.
You know, like that wouldn't work.
Yeah.
So,
but the thing is, that goes against what a lot of people believe is like the tenets of country music, because those guys who pander to those people, that fan base, I've seen it, that fan base looks right past the fact that their favorite artists are liars.
sure,
they live in mansions.
Yeah.
They haven't seen a horse in years. They've never driven a tractor. They've been married for 25 years, have like 3 kids. They're talking about looking for the girl at the bar who can crush a Bud Light as fast as you can.
Right.
And they are pandering, but there is something about that pandering that fan base
connects.
It works for them. They're like, listen, I don't need this person to live this experience. I need them to look the way I want them to look, and I need them to sound the way I want them to sound. And they look at Beyonce as royalty. It's like if Kate Middleton made an album.
Right.
Like,
or worse, even worse, thinking she's royalty and really not being, because she doesn't deserve it because of other reasons that we talked about.
Right.
So it's even worse, you know?
Yeah.
And that's where the hate
It's a deep psyche, man. It's a deep thing. It's a deeply American thing.
Who thought a Beyonce pop album would be such a tumultuous topic?
Everybody, if you're paying attention. Anytime she does anything now, it's like she I think artists when they get too big, and then and there's just going to be a certain amount of people who are like, this person is the worst thing that's ever happened to American culture ever. And it's like, I just can't imagine. Again, going back to the beginning of this, I am a Beyonce fan, but that's because of the things that she's done, and it's because of the music that she makes. I'm not an idiot. I know that, like, you know, these super rich people with privilege. Excuse me. Oh, this Hellas is fighting back. There it is. I know that they could be, if you want to look at the ruling class, the rich class, the upper 1%,
the upper crust.
You can have that conversation about their contributions to American society, what they can and cannot do, what they are and are not doing to help people. Yeah. If you look at them as artists, because here's the thing, I challenge you, if you're a country fan and you're upset with Beyonce, and the reason you are upset with Beyonce's album is because of that, because you believe that she's too famous or too out of touch to even make a country album, I challenge you to have that same line of thinking with all the other mega famous country stars who do the same thing. You want to, like, I mean, look at Garth Brooks. I mean, I know that's like an old example, but he's like one of the most famous one of the most famous artists in the world. He's
still one of the most successful.
Yeah, he sold millions and millions of records. His tours are crazy successful, and he got away with murdering multiple people.
It's true.
So
where are the bodies? Where
are the bodies, Garth? So I believe if you want to have that attitude towards it, then basically keep that same energy. That's how I feel. Keep that same energy across the board, because I guarantee you, the Toby Keiths, the Keith Urbans, the Garths, the Chris Stapletons, I imagine, these people are mega successful. They're not kicking open RV doors, jumping on a horse, playing their 6-string. These guys are worth millions of dollars. You know what I mean?
R.I.P. Toby Keith.
R.I.P. Toby Keith, for sure. Yeah. I mean, I don't know that much about him. Maybe he was a piece of shit. I don't know.
I mean, he did some music that was a little controversial, but
rest in peace, because a guy died. I don't know anything about him.
So I only say that because apparently behind the scenes he was a sweetheart and was a really good dude.
Is that right?
That's according to Stephen Colbert, actually. They were close friends.
I don't take Stephen Colbert's opinion on this.
Well, I mean, he's like...
you know what, man? I don't know about Stephen Colbert nowadays.
Yeah.
I don't know about that dude. Seems like he seems like an agent of the state.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't trust him.
You know, I don't either.
Oh,
but I only bring that up too because he's like, you know, traditionally the biggest leftist, you know, right?
Oh, Colbert.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And to be close friends with. I mean, it could all be, you know, smoke and mirrors too. You know?
But that's the thing though. It's like a lot of times people who pretend to be leftists are always like, yeah, but my friend John McCain.
Sure.
It's just like, oh, all right.
We in the Senate we fought like hell, but behind the scenes,
what a man. Give the shirt off his back.
Yeah,
that he would.
Sure.
Anyway, I guess that's my. I don't know if again. I don't think there's enough time to litigate this as much as we can. We're really just kind of firing from the hip.
Ooh,
Cowboy Carter.
Yeah.
But I think we got our point across. Unless I mean,
so.
I don't know. I feel like this is something that this is a very complex issue.
Yeah.
That has multiple facets, and I feel like maybe we didn't crack this egg open as much as we can. Maybe we got the egg whites and we didn't get the yolk in there.
Yeah.
But there's only so much time we can spend on this.
It's true.
But I just feel like there's more. I don't know. I feel like there's more to be said about this. I will say the album is garnering critical acclaim.
It is. I think the only thing that I am a little critical of from listening what I did listen to is it does with the little interstitials and stuff with traditional famous country artists does come off a little pandering to me.
Yeah.
It's like, see, Dolly Parton's on this. You like her, right?
Yeah.
And like, I don't think she needed that personally. I understand why she or her team would decide to do that, but I just feel like it weakens it a little bit, and it makes it feel like I feel like the music should stand for, should stand up on its own without this, what's the word I'm looking for? Like a signee on it,
Yeah, cosign.
like a cosign. That's the one negative that kind of rubbed me the wrong way, but as far as the songs themselves go, I think it's a pretty good album so far.
But she did the same thing on the Renaissance album too. She didn't have like skits dedicated to being like, look who's here. But she had collaborators that you could tell was definitely like, look who I got to be on this album.
Well, and again, to be fair, I don't think it's exclusively a country music problem because I remember a lot of like big time house nerds were like, oh, that's not real house music.
For sure. I do think that part of it, given country music's recent history in general.
Yeah, and kind of insularity of it too.
Yeah, so I do think that part of it is just that I do think that there's a racial component to it.
Sure,
yeah. You're right. A lot of it is just Beyonce as an artist, and not that she's a black woman, but she's just too popular.
Yeah.
Everybody who feels like they have like their own cute little genre, when an artist like that jumps in, they're like, no, get out of here. This is the small pool. You have the fucking giant pool over there. You're swimming over there and everything's great. Why are you coming over to our little pool?
So they must see it like Walmart coming to their small town.
Yeah.
It's
like we don't do this.
You're going to ruin Johnny's spot right there.
Right. But if you just keep supporting Johnny's spot, you won't have to worry about Walmart coming in and fucking up Johnny's spot.
It's true.
I don't know.
Just keep going to Johnny's.
There's something to be said about that.
Just keep going to Johnny's.
Keep going to Johnny's.
Yeah.
You keep going to Johnny's. You keep listening to Florida Georgia Line if you want to. They make awful music. They are terrible.
Yeah.
I hate them.
Yeah.
I hate them.
Yeah, they're not good. Maybe one of the worst.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
I don't know how anybody could...
Perplexingly popular.
Yeah. If you like Florida Georgia Line and then you're like, this Beyonce album sucks, I'm like, no, I don't want to listen to your fucking opinion. You don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
You suck.
I don't care if you've listened to country music your whole life. If you prop up Florida Georgia Line, which I'm sure, I don't know if anybody's actually doing this. I'm probably creating a
Someone's
person.
gotta.
But yeah. I mean, there was that one girl who went viral on TikTok because she was like talking shit about the album. She kept trying to like bring up all these points and everyone was like refuting each point. And then she finally was like, I'm deleting the video. And it's like, hey, man, if you feel like you have a point and you're making a good point, then you stand on it.
Yeah.
Don't delete it.
No, that's the worst thing you can do.
Stand on it. Yeah. Because once everybody's stitched it to death.
Yeah, it's over.
Yeah, we all keep it up. All we're gonna do is search your account, and then you look at the comments on all the videos that have nothing to do with it. Yeah. And you're like, "Where's that Beyonce video, bitch?" And you're like, "You can't run."
No,
it's coming for you.
It's over. Gotta stand on it.
Gotta stand on it. Don't you run away. All right. In other probably unnecessary sequel news. No, Cowboy Carter
watch
is a necessary sequel. Very necessary.
We don't want the fade from the Beyonce stance.
I'm in it.
The Bayhive.
I'm in it with them. So like, hey, listen, don't come for this podcast because I'm right there with you. I'm in the Beehive with you. Okay, know that you would be attacking your own if you came for this podcast.
They would bite off their own arm to save Beyonce.
And I would give him my arm. I wouldn't give Beyonce
my axe.
I would give her my ass. All right. Let's talk about it.
Okay.
Matrix.
Yeah.
A beloved series. Beloved. Seem to have put a neat little, if unnecessary, bow on the series with Matrix Resurrections.
Correct.
And now here we are with a 5th Matrix movie from Warner Brothers.
Yeah.
Drew Goddard helmed to direct, and the Wachowski siblings, well, at least Lana, is there to produce.
Yeah. So
right there, 2 out of 5 stars for the last movie. It's crazy. What's that article? I mean, what's that? Who is this?
The Guardian.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, you got the article pulled up. Let's get some deets.
So, from The Guardian, Warner Bros. Announced this new Matrix movie helmed by Drew Goddard. Writer of The Martian, Cloverfield, and World War Z, will write and direct 5th film in groundbreaking cyberpunk franchise. Yeah, I mean, as far as Drew Goddard's talent, I like the guy. He's done a lot of stuff that I enjoy, including Cloverfield. I think he worked on Buffy back in the day.
Yeah.
Cabin in the Woods.
Yeah.
He created Marvel's Daredevil, the Netflix show.
He did?
He did. So he can handle action.
Okay.
Which is good to know. You know, always a promising sign when a traditionally action-based franchise gets another director that's not just some like unknown that clearly WB's propping up to like inject committee at. So that's kind of the only reason I'm okay with this is that he's attached to it.
Yeah.
Other than that, like, I agree. I don't think even Matrix Resurrections was necessary.
Yeah.
But I thought it was fine. I thought it was nice to be back with those characters. I thought it was interesting in a way. I will say a little disappointing overall, but still, I disagree with The Guardian with a 2 out of 5. I'd probably give it a 3 out of 5. Okay? I think it was all right. I think it was okay.
I disagree. That movie sucks.
Did you really hate it?
I hated it.
I thought it was all right.
Terrible.
I thought it was okay.
Oh,
I thought it was weird, but
it was
okay.
Terrible. I hated it.
Yeah.
I think that this is going to be an interesting conversation, and I can't wait to look up all these fucking people that I've been arguing with on my burner account over the Matrix, because I saw this thread about how The Matrix Resurrections is actually a beautiful work of art, and if you didn't like it, you didn't get it. And I'm like, no, I got it.
That was me. I tweeted that.
I got it.
Yeah.
Most of us got it.
Sure.
I'd say 95% of us who watched that movie understood what they were going for.
Sure. Yeah.
It just sucks. Listen. And not only that, But now with this fifth movie, so here's part of the point of this thread that a lot of people agreed with, and it seems to be happening every fucking day now, where you go on Twitter and somebody is like, "Hey, remember that movie that everyone said sucked? It's actually a masterpiece, and you guys just didn't get it at the time."
Yeah.
And then you got like a bunch of people who are like, "Oh yeah, that's one of my favorite movies of all time. It's a cinematic masterpiece. The way they shot this, that," and like, no,
I saw them do that with the. Like, was it 99 Godzilla, the American one?
Yes. I saw that thread too.
Yeah, there was a retweet that was like, you guys have to stop like romanticizing movies you saw when you were 10.
Yeah.
Just because you like them doesn't make them good.
Right.
They're like, they can be objectively bad movies. That's fine.
Yeah.
They're not these secret classics that you're trying to prop up.
Mm-hmm. You can defend the movie in a way that it's because you enjoyed the movie. You can like it all you want.
Sure.
But if you've got 100 people in a room and 89 people are telling you like, "No, that's not good."
I mean, as a kid, I liked Ninja Turtles 2, Secret of the Ooze.
Yeah.
But it's not a very good movie.
Still like it. I watched it the other day.
Why not? But I'm not going to sit here on Twitter and go, it's actually a secret cinematic masterpiece.
Right. And I'm also not gonna insult the intelligence of everyone else by saying like you just didn't understand it and that's why you didn't like it.
Right. You're stupid.
Yeah,
I'm not stupid.
I'm the smart one.
Yeah.
We got it. And
I'm better than you.
Dude, and it's the thing with this fucking Matrix movie, Matrix Resurrections, like the meta commentary in the movie and also like the surface level commentary of the movie is like it's not that hard to get.
No,
and that's
it's not very
the
deep.
thing is all of these movies that people prop up as like super intelligent and like it's like they're not that hard to understand. I just watched the movie, even if you need to watch it more than once. It's like,
sure.
Like The Matrix is not a hard movie to get. Inception's not a hard movie to get. Tenet's not a hard movie to get. Like these movies that people are like, and then you get the other side of the argument where it's like you're accusing like Christopher Nolan and like the Wachowskis of being like pseudo intellectuals because the movies are easy to get. It's like they didn't say that they're hard movies.
No,
they didn't prop them up as these hyper complex things that you need to watch multiple times to understand every facet of. You did.
It's similar to what's happening with Beyonce, actually.
Yeah,
where it's like it's the media and the press and fans that are really making it a bigger thing than it is.
Yeah, she just made a country album.
She made it. She decided to make a country album.
You're doing all this extra shit,
and then all the media is like, "Can you believe?
Yeah,
Beyonce is making the best country album of all time,
dude." Yeah,
have you listened to it?
That's on them. That's not on her.
Right.
And the Wachowski siblings. Now, okay, but the point that I'm really trying to get to is the fact that, like, okay, if I'm really supposed to believe that Matrix Resurrections was made as a labor of love and also a fuck you to Warner Brothers,
it totally was. It was absolutely.
Then why the fuck are we back at it again with the Wachowskis as producers?
Yeah.
Why are they even involved? This should be something where in what capacity are the Wachowskis involved in this? Because they should be spitting on the grave of this movie. They should be out in the streets going, "Don't support this thing," because the last thing that we did was our send-off of this series.
Was us killing our baby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's this whole thing where people are like, it's a movie about transformation and the Wachowskis and their own personal transformation, and it's a movie, blah, 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 blah. And it's like, okay, even if that is what it is about.
It's been clear since the first Matrix, though.
Right.
It's not just that movie.
Yeah. So the whole... Exactly. So, fine. But now what is this one where we've ended this tale, we've ended the story, and we've for all intents and purposes have a satisfying ending to this series.
Yeah.
At least I thought. I don't know. Are they bringing anybody back? Do we have any details about like
according to this article, quote, "This will be the first in the Cyberpunk series, which included the 1999 original, as well as Matrix Reloaded, the Matrix Revolutions, and the Matrix Resurrections, not to directly involve its co-creators, Lana or Lily Wachowski, though Lana is attached to executive produce. No word yet on whether the franchise stars Keanu Reeves, Lawrence Fishburne, Carrie-Anne Moss, Hugo Weaving, and Jada Pinkett Smith will return." So
Jada Pinkett Smith was not.
No.
That one was definitely the shoehorned in to like diversify that cast.
Yeah, they threw her in there for SEO.
Yeah.
Oh, is that DEI? Is that DEI?
Yeah, Jada Pinkett Smith is a star of those movies. Yeah,
Sure.
anyway,
Yeah. So
okay, if
We don't
it's, if it's a thing where it's a completely different take on the Matrix and maybe it's starring a bunch of other people set within this series, fine, sure, whatever. It was only a matter of
the
time.
Matrix reset.
Yeah.
Reboot.
The Matrix. It could just be called Reboot.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. That was the whole point of the Wachowskis, at least as far as I understood, that was the whole point of them not wanting to do the fourth movie. Was like,
Right.
we already told our story.
Yeah.
We don't need to do it
It's
again.
over.
And then Warner Brothers was like, we're going to do it without you.
With or without you, yeah.
Either you jump on board. So then the Wachowskis were like, oh, so you're going to force our hand. This is what we're going to do.
Yeah.
And then, according to some people on the internet, made a purposefully bad movie to send up Warner Brothers.
Yeah.
Now, if you think that, listen, and you see it a lot with artists where they make something, they do make things purposefully bad for whatever reason. I know that Prince, for example, in the 90s made bad albums to get out of his contract.
Yep.
And he made them bad on purpose because it was like, I'm stuck in this slave contract.
Yeah.
You're not going to get Purple Rain.
Right.
You're going to get Snickle Fritz. You're going to get the artist formerly known. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I know he did that. And I'm sure that directors have made bad movies on purpose to get out of contracts.
Sure, yeah.
So it's not unheard of. But what I don't like and what I refuse to accept and give the fan base is that now turns it into a work of art. It could be a satire. It could be this thing that we all acknowledge is bad, and it's bad for a reason, but that doesn't make it now somehow good.
Right.
Because I can't rewatch it because it's borderline unwatchable in my opinion. The fight, let me just say, from a pure movie standpoint, not even talking about the meta commentary of the movie, from a pure movie standpoint, some of the shots are pretty cool, but most of it looks like shit.
Yeah.
The fight scenes are terrible. I don't know what the fuck was going on with Keanu Reeves when he was filming this movie, but he is asleep at the wheel.
Yeah.
He is. It's just not there.
I have to think that Lana and Lily were like, look, guys, this is what's happening. We're being forced to do this. You're going to get a good paycheck.
Yeah.
All you guys are getting paid.
Yeah.
But we're phoning it in.
Yeah, everyone phones it in.
We are going to do our least because WB sucks.
Yeah.
So let's all agree, we're not trying to reinvent the wheel here. Let's just have fun, hang out, and get this thing done.
Yeah.
Okay?
And that's exactly how it reads when you watch it. Hugo Weaving doesn't come back. Lawrence Fishburne doesn't come back. Right. Carrie-Anne Moss is also asleep at the wheel. Yeah. The only person who seems like he's interested in doing this movie is fucking Doogie Howser. Fucking what's his fucking name?
Neil Patrick Harris, NPH.
NPH.
Yes.
He's the only one who seems even remotely interested in being there.
Sure.
Yeah. So just from a pure movie standpoint, it's just not fun to watch. I don't know how you can rewatch it and be like and enjoy yourself. Like it's like a movie or it's like reading a book that's like really, really hard to read.
I thought Jonathan Groff was okay too. He tried his best as the new Agent Smith.
I disagree. I didn't think he was very good, and I like him as an actor.
Yeah,
I just don't think he did very good. And homie who played the new Morpheus, I thought.
Oh yeah,
he's a great actor too, and he seemed like he didn't want to be there. Yeah. Everyone seems like they don't really know what's going on and don't really want to be a part of it.
Yeah.
It's just not a fun experience.
I will say I have no intention of going back to rewatch it.
No, of course not.
Yeah.
Why would you?
That's fair.
And then you and then you get into the meta commentary of it, and then it's really not as clever as it's supposed to be, or as clever as you were supposed to believe that it is. When they do this stuff where they talk about the Matrix as a video game, and then they talk about it from a fan standpoint or a real life standpoint, and they can kind of make commentary on its influence and all the things
and
that
franchising.
But yeah, so you can have these conversations within the movie, and then kind of go, you know what I'm saying, like at us, and it's like.
Right. Yeah.
We litigated this already. We had this these
Yeah,
conversations for years on message boards. I don't need you to now spit back at me the same shit that I already was saying, especially when most of us who are fans of the franchise were like, we don't need this fourth movie. So now you're going to put it back on us like, we know we shouldn't have done this, and Warner Brothers forced us to do it, so this is what we're going to do with it. And it's like, well, this movie fucking sucks.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and I hate to say, like, that they should have made a balls to the wall. Well, they should have made a. Sorry.
Come on now.
They should have made a movie, action-packed, spectacle. If they didn't want to, and if Warner Brothers was going to force them, or going to just do a movie anyway, that without their involvement was going to be who knows what.
Yeah.
But that wasn't the answer. Resurrections wasn't the answer to that. So
yeah,
that's my take. This I'm not even remotely excited about.
I mean, again,
almost angry about it.
Clearly. I'll go back to what I said in my review of Resurrections way back when. I can appreciate the punk rock nature of making a shitty movie, or like trying to stick it to your producer and the company you're working for. But at the same time, I agree, and I'm on the fence about it actually being kind of disrespectful to everyone involved. Because, like, why... Like, people still had to work hard on that movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. And still had to show up and still had to try.
Yeah.
And I can't really believe that the Wachowskis would make something as sort of lukewarm on face value, I should say, as Resurrections was.
That's because you like Speed Racer so much.
I love Speed Racer.
You have
don't get me
more
started.
confidence in the Wachowskis than the rest of us do.
I guess I do, but I don't know. Especially with their like baby, The Matrix really was the thing, So
was their baby anyway?
Yeah. So. I've turned around this. I'm actually not looking forward to this movie anymore.
Sorry.
It's all right.
Sorry, Wachowskis.
Yeah.
Warner Brothers.
Well, I mean, the Wachowskis probably are right there with us, to be honest with you. So, I don't know. We'll see. I like Goddard as a filmmaker, so maybe we'll at least get something entertaining. But even then, I don't know if it'd be worth diving back into that world.
Nah, I'll wait for it to pop up on HBO Max again.
It's just Max.
Sorry.
Lose the HBO. It's cleaner.
It's cleaner. All right, we'll see. Okay, last but certainly not least, as of this recording, it's about to be WrestleMania weekend.
Oh, yeah.
And boy, oh boy, could this turn out to be the biggest event of the year, and also maybe one of the biggest events in the history of wrestling. Could and that is not hyperbole.
No,
there is this is a huge card.
Yeah,
and
2 nights.
There are some like pretty crazy implications. Now, just be forewarned, the rest of this podcast until we get to the review is going to be all kayfabe, baby. We're diving in. So if you're not a fan of professional wrestling, you might want to just skip to the review.
Yeah, you can do that.
Or skip to the cheers.
Cheers, yeah, cheers of the week.
Because I'm not letting up. I'm not
That's fine.
I'm not gonna do any caveats for people who aren't fans of wrestling. I'm not gonna be like, well, boop, boop. No, I'm talking wrestling.
Sure.
So here we go.
You want me to read through the list? Okay.
Let's do it.
Starting on Saturday night of WrestleMania 40, we get Rey Mysterio and Dragon Lee versus Santos Escobar and Dominic Mysterio. Then we got Bianca Belair, Naomi, and Jade Cargill versus Damage Control, which is Dakota Kai, Asuka, and Kairi Sane. Then we have a 6-pack ladder match for undisputed WWE Tag Team Championships, including Judgment Day, Awesome Truth, DIY, and New Day. and New Catch Republic, and A-Town Down Under.
A-Town Down Under.
Yeah, what a mashup.
Yeah.
Then we got Jey Uso versus Jimmy Uso. Big one. Intercontinental Championship with Gunther, the current champion, versus Sami Zayn. Women's World Championship, Rhea Ripley, the current champion, versus the man, Becky Lynch. Then we got The Rock and Roman Reigns versus Cody Rhodes and Seth freaking Rollins.
Seth freaking Rollins, baby.
Yeah.
So that's night one.
That's night one.
That undercard is sounds really entertaining. Here's the thing. There's not a match on this card that to me sounds like it's not going to be at least fun to watch.
Yeah.
There have been years and years past where you're looking at that bottom of the card. I was rewatching WrestleMania 13. Yeah, WrestleMania 13. WrestleMania 13. Specifically for the submission match between Steve Austin and Bret Hart.
Sure.
But the bottom of that card is horrendous. I had to just skip through it. It was terrible. It was just like, I mean, when the show starts and you hear bing 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 bing, and it's like some bumpkin ass tag team. And listen, I'm sure that they belong in the fucking WWE Hall of Fame
in their time.
Yeah, but you're watching the match and it's just a bunch of fat dudes slamming into each other, and it's just like
doing these.
Yeah, it's not. It's yeah. So the one thing that we have in modern wrestling is a company filled, three companies, multiple companies filled with extremely talented men and women.
Yeah.
So the bottom of this card sounds really, really entertaining.
There's a lot of, from what I'm reading on this card in particular, is very athletic wrestlers.
Yeah.
Yeah. Lots of high energy.
Yeah.
Flying from the ropes type wrestling, which is always fun to watch.
Night one is going to be something for everybody.
Yeah.
Because that Intercontinental Championship match, Gunther and
Gunther.
Sami Zayn,
that's
going to be a really, really good match. I can already tell.
Yeah. They've been really pushing that one too.
That's going to be
Sami
good.
Zayn.
The Jimmy and Jay match, I mean, these guys have grown up together.
Yeah.
They're brothers.
Yep.
And they've probably wrestled each other 100 million times
since birth.
Yeah. So you can only imagine the chemistry that they have in the ring. That's going to be incredible.
Yep.
The two women's matches, again, just talent on talent on talent. The Rhea Ripley, the championship match, man, that's just. I know some people are like sick of seeing Becky Lynch. I'm not.
No,
I like Becky Lynch.
She's great. Yeah.
And Rhea Ripley, I mean, mommy, come on. It's just, yeah, I'm just fucking juiced up for both nights. But
yeah,
should we give like who we think's gonna win, or should we just talk about the card? Call it.
I don't feel studied up on the every storyline enough to be able to say with confidence.
Yeah, that's true. You gotta be, and I haven't. Some of the middle of the card I'm not really like the 6-pack challenge.
Right.
I know all of those tag teams, but
yeah,
some of them I'm just like I don't know. Maybe they have a better shot than I believe.
Right. So
there is a rumor that the Hardys may come back again. There's also a rumor that Big E may come back, which is really cool.
Yeah,
that would be a big WrestleMania moment if he, comes in for like the save or something.
Sure.
And you just hear, "It's a new day, yes it is," and Big E's ass comes out.
Yeah,
that'd be cool.
Agreed.
Top of the card, that tag match. You may have heard him say The Rock.
Yeah,
and it is The Rock,
Dwayne Johnson, if you will.
He's been back for the past couple of months doing an actual wrestling program. If you can believe that.
Yeah, you can say I'm back.
One of the biggest stars in the world.
Yeah.
Decided he's got about 6 months off to do this program.
It's not too good to cut some promos again.
Apparently not. So he's been doing the Lord's work.
Yeah.
It's been incredible to see him back and just so. Here's the thing. I've seen some people say like, "See, we told you The Rock should be the one in the championship match. Look how good he is right now. Look how on fire he is. And it's like, dude, the only reason he's so on fire is because the crowd rejected him as the guy so harshly.
Right.
That now it makes sense that he is a heel and doing his best work.
Yeah.
The Rock has always been a better heel than he was a face, even though he's got more charisma. He could bottle his charisma and sell it.
Sure.
That doesn't mean that he's not a better villain. He's always been a better bad guy.
And if you've seen anything recently, he's doing the like country asshole kind of thing.
Yeah.
Which is just perfect.
It's awesome.
It's beautiful to see.
It was him when he was at his best.
They showed he cut to video of little kids crying at him beating up Cody Rhodes.
It's amazing. Just call him Cody Crybabies. Crybabies. The Cody Crybabies.
Yeah, I mean,
dude, and he keeps talking about how like he's gonna send Cody's
Mrs.
body
Rhodes
to his mom.
Yeah, the bloody belt.
Like yeah,
he's gonna send the bloody belt,
to
Mama Rhodes.
It's awesome. It's
great.
Awesome. It's so good. But it only works because of everything preceding it brought it to this point that now it naturally works.
In a weird way, the fans made it so this happened.
Not in a weird way. I mean, it's in a perfectly... It makes logical sense that the fans were like, no. And then smartly... Triple H and The Rock and everybody else pivoted and said, we're not going to fight this. This is WrestleMania.
Right.
It's the biggest night of the year. Let's just go with let's just give the people what they want this time.
And you know The Rock is savvy enough to be like, yeah, all right, let's go that way.
Yeah, and here's the thing. We've talked about what his what his more recent failures in Hollywood have done to his psyche, right? It's very clear that his movies bombing, not doing what he thought they were going to do, has affected him.
Yeah,
it's clear in his interviews. It's clear in his actions. It's clear in the fact that he opened up his schedule enough to do this program in the first place.
Yeah, exactly.
So
he's going back to the roots.
It is surprising and welcoming to see him actually put a little bit of himself aside, his ego, to do this program, because he very well could have said, "Fuck the crowd. I want to win the belt one more time.
Yeah,
and I deserve it, and it's going to help my career." He was smart enough and savvy enough to say, like, the only way that this is going to work is if we do it the smart way. We've been telling this story for the past 2.5 years. If we don't pay it off now, we may never get a chance to ever pay it off. I'm The Rock. I'm a legend. I am a first ballot Hall of Famer. There's no reason for me to win the belt again. It doesn't make a lot of sense. And also, the money is still there for a Rock-Roman match without the belt. Roman can lose the belt to Cody, and Rock can still wrestle Roman, and the money's still there.
And I love that people, like, fans have gotten so into it that, like, they're noticing, like, these micro movements in the Rock promos and being like, oh, he's going to turn.
Like, look at him, pointing at him.
Yeah. He's
pointing at him with his thumb.
His thumb's down. What does that mean?
He's very clearly going to turn. And you're like,
I love when, especially wrestling fans, get that nerdy about it. To be like thinking anything is a sign of what could possibly happen. That's fun. That's a good time.
Yeah,
I enjoy that element of it. But yeah, anyway, so do you want to go over night 2?
Yeah.
Night 2 starts with Bobby Lashley and the Street Profits versus the Final Testament and Pain. It cuts off. I don't know. The Final Testament, Karrion Kross, and Authors of Pain, which are a group within themselves. Then LA Knight versus AJ Styles. United States Championship Triple Threat featuring Logan Paul versus Randy Orton versus Kevin Owens. The WWE Women's Championship featuring Io Sky, the champion, versus Bayley. Then the World Heavyweight Championship, Seth Rollins, the current champ, versus Drew McIntyre, who's been talking lots of shit.
Cash shit.
Which has been incredible.
Oh, yeah.
And then finally the undisputed WWE Universal Championship, featuring Roman Reigns, the current champion, versus Cody Rhodes.
So I feel like this night is the more obvious night.
Yeah.
And I hope that the WWE just goes full fan service. I hope that LA Knight wins.
Yeah.
I hope that
Drew
McIntyre probably should win with all the shit that he's been talking. You got to give him the belt, and Seth has held it for long enough.
Sure.
Seth has and it makes sense. Seth is wrestling excuse me, night one.
The night before,
So it stands to reason that if he gets injured night one, then he has to wrestle again, and Drew beats the shit out of him. So now he doesn't win clean, and he's the heel.
Right.
And Seth can have a little program and go back and forth, but you can still give the belt to Drew. It all makes sense.
And then CM Punk will be back, and
CM Punk will finally be back, and then he can wrestle for the belt too.
Yep.
No, he's gonna probably wrestle for the world heavyweight title.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't foresee Punk ever getting the Universal title. I think he's too old, and I think that it works better for him to get the quote unquote fighting championship and be that guy than to get the big belt. And but then I could be wrong. Who knows? He could come back to a completely new environment. I think he should come back. He's going to come back to an explosion of cheers when he finally comes back from injury. But I do think he needs to turn heel. He's just a better heel. Punk is always he's just another guy who's a better heel.
Yeah.
I think most of these dudes, Seth is a better heel than he is a face.
It's hard to be a baby face, though. I feel like few and far between do you find somebody that's not just okay at it because they quote deserve it.
Yeah.
Like who else who would be like an ultimate face?
Cena.
Sure. You can't see him though.
Cody Rhodes is the ultimate face. Now, currently. Yeah, there's a lot of guys. Bret Hart was a guy who, until he turned heel, seemed like he never would turn heel. It's just
but that
harder.
doesn't sell nowadays,
Yeah, yes, exactly.
No one wants that clean cut character
because everyone's so fucking cynical, man. That's the problem with wrestling. That's the problem with Hollywood. That's the problem with most. That's the problem with pop culture in general.
Right.
Sincerity is viewed so harshly now.
Yeah.
I think we've talked about it off camera, I think, of just
sure.
you're just not allowed to like things genuinely anymore without winking at the audience or winking at the listener.
Talked about that a lot in therapy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not fair. You should just be able to like shit. Some shit is corny and it just is what it is. But, artists are definitely afraid to just be sincere.
Sure.
Because it comes off as cringe and corny. So,
but that I have a theory here.
I'm all ears.
I think it's because people themselves are uncomfortable with that level of sincerity. And they're really cringing. They're the cringe ones, really, when someone's just being themselves and truthfully excited about something or happy or a fan of something or just expressing themselves freely. That's in no way cringe.
Yeah.
It is the people's reaction that they can't handle that sincerity. And they go, "Oh, you're the weird one, man."
I think it's hard for people nowadays to accept that people just like shit without having an ulterior motive. So they're like, you're very clearly trying to pander to women, or you're trying to pander to black people, or you're trying to be woke.
There's got to be an ulterior motive regardless. You can't just enjoy something anymore.
Yeah. And going back to wrestling, baby faces are usually you can't be that nice.
Right.
You've
got to have a dark side. There's got to be
because
something.
Everyone does. Because going back to what you were saying, if I do, you have to.
Yeah.
And it's bullshit.
Right.
These guys could just be nice guys, man.
Yeah.
People make mistakes, but they don't have to be secretly terrible people.
Sure. Well, complete side tangent here. That's going to be interesting to see with the new Superman movie. Because Superman Black Superman.
Black Superman.
I mean, historically, a babyface.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, like
The
the babyface in all of comics, really. Yeah. So I don't know. Like, we have to wonder if a Superman works in 2024.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Will people like that, or will they, you know, look at it cynically?
It's tough to say, because how do you make things funny that don't wink at the audience, that are just sincere jokes? Maybe you can take the piss out of the fact that he is so sincere and is a babyface, but with the way that people, with what is funny to people now,
Yeah.
it's hard to just make a joke at the expense of the hero.
Sure.
That isn't, this guy's kind of a fucking idiot, right? Am I right? We're all here to agree this guy fucking sucks, kind of.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. It's tough. I mean, that is
yeah.
what a lot of people's criticism of the imaginary title reign of Cody Rhodes. A lot of people are like, okay, but when he wins the belt, who's he going to feud with? And it's like, dude, wrestling has been, ever since it's been in fucking carnivals, has been good guy versus bad guy.
Yeah.
What do you want Cody to do? He is going to, I mean, when he wins the belt, which he has to win the belt, I can't believe, I just refuse to it.
If they don't give him that belt,
I might I'm not gonna do anything that matters, but I don't know. I
might
can't
yell a
imagine,
little bit.
dude. Well, when I watched last year, I was shocked.
Yeah.
I was shocked that he didn't win.
Yeah.
It was a genuine, like, oh my god, I can't believe they didn't pull the trigger. That's crazy. And there was people over, and I was like certain he was gonna win. And then
no, you don't get it. This is big.
Well, and the thing is, like, casual fans were like, "Oh, that was cool," and they kind of like everyone kind of
all
started
right.
going to side conversations and like drinking and stuff. And I was sitting on the couch like, I can't believe what I just watched. I can't believe they didn't do it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that is a very cool thing that they did last year in retrospect. Obviously, at the time, I was disappointed because I really did want to see Cody win. But now, given the time that they've built this story, they've built it back up. It's like, man, this is really... How do you get lightning in a bottle twice? You really can't. I mean, I don't know how many more opportunities you're going to get.
It's really now or never, because they're like, the audience is not going to trust that you're going to do the right thing again if you don't do it now.
And it'll be anticlimactic if they try to do it one more time and then take it to like SummerSlam and then give them the belt. People will be like, yeah, but you missed two golden opportunities.
Now's the time.
Even in retrospect, Cody could have. This story is awesome that it has gotten to this place where now The Rock is involved and pop culture is excited. You see them now doing interviews on, like, fucking Becky Lynch was on The Breakfast Club. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, pop culture. Wrestling is back in the zeitgeist.
Yeah.
At least for a little bit, because The Rock is there and wrestling is fun again and it's exciting and people are like excited to watch it. And when I talk to people about it, people are like, "Oh, that's cool. That sounds like a fun thing. I kind of want to," you know, people are like, "Oh, are you going to watch it?" And I'm like, "Yeah, of course I'm going to fucking watch it." So it's back and it's exciting. So it is cool that it got to this place. But I will say, it still would have made sense for him to win the belt at 39.
Sure. I think this year's about righting wrongs and kind of, like you said, kind of like giving the people what they want. I think this is going to be, I mean, especially given the background stuff going on with WWE especially, I think now's the time that they're like, all right, look, it's been a rough year for us.
Yeah.
It's been a very rough year. There's been a lot of transitions, lots of controversy. Let's make this one, you know, a crowd pleaser, and we can move on to hijinks later.
Yeah.
You know, but I feel like they need to really stick the landing on this one. Everyone's looking.
Yeah.
If they don't do it,
it's gonna be all the eyes.
It's gonna be a big deal if they don't.
Well, and
land
you know what's
the
gonna
ship.
happen is, like, if Roman wins, for instance, you end the show with a cascade of boos.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Why wouldn't you want the fireworks going off to people going absolutely insane? Because what's going to happen is when he gets that 1, 2, 3, the roof is going to come off. People are going to, it's going to
explode.
a deafening pop. It's going to be huge.
Yeah.
when somebody finally beats Roman and it's Cody and it's been 2 years of them building the story, it's gonna be
huge,
cataclysmic. Like so like you said, they really got to stick the landing. I think even the bottom of the card could like kind of suck if they at least do what they're supposed to do.
Definitely.
And you've got some like really entertaining. This like night 2 is like really, L.A. Knight, going against AJ Styles, who is by some measures the greatest professional wrestler.
It was great, yeah.
That's a big star-making moment. L.A. Knight's got to go over. The U.S. Championship triple threat match.
Yeah.
That's fun.
Sure.
I think Logan Paul going over Orton and Kevin Owens is, Orton's a Hall of Famer. Kevin Owens, he's already won the U.S. Championship. I don't know if he needs to win it again. This legitimizes Logan Paul if he goes over to the best in the business. So that's fun.
Yeah.
And then the Drew and Seth match, 2 of the best in the game right now.
Yeah.
That could go either way. I really could watch Seth go another couple of months with the belt, or I do think Drew also deserves it. I mean, it's just it's great. It's great.
Yeah.
It's all kind of up in the air except for that last match. Cody needs to win. Everything else, it's just kind of up in the air.
We'll see.
Which
is kind of exactly what you want, right?
Mm-hmm.
You want to know it's going to be satisfying at the end, but also not knowing what's going to happen all the way up to that, so you stay engaged.
Mm-hmm.
I like that. I don't think it could be better.
Yeah.
Given those circumstances.
Yeah.
So I'm excited. I'm real into it right now.
Yeah.
Even as a casual wrestling fan.
Yeah.
I'm super in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry.
All right. Okay.
Okay. All right, kids. I think I know there's a couple more things that we need to do, but you think we're done here on as far as these topics?
Yeah, I think we're done here. I think we're done.
But we got 2 more things to do. And the first thing, I came up with the bit. You didn't come up with it. I came up with it. It's called the Cheers of the Week. And Obi, what's your cheers, bud?
My cheers of the week goes to the Iron Claw. Speaking of
wrestling. You gonna cry about it?
Yeah, it's been a devastating week for Sherry and sad movies.
Well,
we watched the Iron
Claw. He forced her to watch Old Boy for some reason.
We watched the Iron Claw and then Old Boy in the same week.
See, this is what happens. This is when I was living with him. He was like, let's watch this really, really sad movie. Don't you want to do that? And I'd be like, no. And there's so many movies where he was like, we should watch this movie. And I was like, hey, man, let's just watch like an action movie or something. Like, why? I don't want to be bummed out tonight. And he's like, fuck you.
I still, like, one of my finest achievements, I feel like, was making you watch Midsommar.
Yeah.
Because you left... I'm gonna say left, but we were like still in the same living room, silent. You were gobsmacked for about a half an hour, like you had shell shock. It was crazy.
I was like, "This is what you wanted to watch." He asked multiple times, like, "Let's watch Midsommar. You gotta see it. You gotta see it." And we're finally watching. I was like, "This is what you wanted me to watch."
Yeah.
Yeah, let's watch Beverly Hills Cop, man.
I'm down for that too. I just know that you're not going to gravitate towards some of these weirder, more disturbing films. So
you're right.
Just want to even you out a little bit, bring you down like Beyonce.
Yeah.
Kick you off that pedestal. But yes, the Iron Claw. I knew the story already about the Von Erichs. But even so, watching the movie, I feel like they did a very good job. There's obviously things that are not exactly correct to the story, but if you want to see the real story, there's literally a documentary on YouTube. But for the most part, I mean, excellent from top to bottom.
Excellent
performances, soundtrack, directing, writing. I mean, it was just really a tour de force, especially for my man Zac Efron. He was so good in it. So
Zachy
good.
E.
Jeremy Allen White doing great. Doing more star making roles. Lily James is great in it too. And I have to give a special shout out to I'm gonna mess up his name. I always do. Holt McCallany.
Oh, the big dumb brother?
No, the dad. Fritz.
Fritz. Oh, that guy's been in a ton of shit.
Yes, I knew him first from
What's the dumb brother's name?
Mindhunter.
Mindhunter.
Yes, Mindhunter. And I've loved him ever since.
Oh, well, he's just, No, he's young and dumb, but he just seemed like in the movie, he's just like the dumbest. Maybe I shouldn't call him the dumb brother, but
You talking about Mike Von Erich, the Stanley Simmons?
No. Yes, maybe I am talking.
I think you are talking about, Stanley Simmons. I mean, I can just keep listing everyone here. They all did a great job.
Yeah. They got MJF in it.
They did, yeah. Which is funny because I didn't even realize at the time.
Yeah.
Like, he did so well. I was like, I don't know that guy.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, they were all excellent and really, it's a real emotional gut punch. That's all I'll say. If you don't know the story, you'll find out.
Yeah. It's a very it's
tragic. It's very very.
Yeah,
tragic.
I mean that's all you can really. It's a tragic story.
But besides that, it's also a movie that doesn't. It isn't just that. It also gives you a good behind the scenes look for people who aren't like big wrestling fans to see what it was like in like the 70s, early 80s.
Yeah.
With all the regional federations and stuff, and kind of how the WWE solidified things eventually, and yeah, I mean, it's just we touch on the beginning of the meteoric rise of the WWE, eventually, but yeah, just seeing behind the scenes of how the guys like prepare, how they train. There's so much good detail that I feel like a lot of people who are casual wrestling fans or not even wrestling fans at all can kind of look at and be like, oh, that's how the sausage is made.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the the human refuse that it leaves behind from these people killing their bodies for their entertainment.
Yeah. I think that, I mean, not to be all it's still real to me, damn it, but movies like The Iron Claw and like The Wrestler, they really illustrate like why it's so insulting to be dismissive about professional wrestling and say like it's fake and these guys are just like, they're goofballs just out there. Like it's like, man, you really don't know like how hard these guys work and like they kill themselves. They literally kill themselves to put on a good show, to entertain people, to live out their dreams and to make you believe in what they're doing. I mean, it is a real tragedy. It's a real tragic way to live your life, and their thought process or their belief system is that like I don't matter so much as creating the best show.
Yeah.
And I will put my body on the line. We'll put my life on the line so that a kid in the crowd can be like, that was awesome, and believe that happened. It's like you may feel like it's not worth it, or you may feel like wrestling is dumb, or it's like this thing that's only for kids, and a lot of it is for kids. Sure, but it's like, don't dismiss what these guys put themselves through to create this thing. The World Wrestling Federation and AEW and all these other places like just wouldn't exist without families like the Von Erichs.
Entertainment, not federation.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
don't want to get sued.
right. Yeah, but it just wouldn't be what it was without the sacrifices of people like the Von Erich family.
Learning from those mistakes.
Absolutely, because
there's a lot to learn from the Von Erichs, unfortunately. But Yeah, I mean, I think it's up there with The Wrestler for me as like the best wrestling movie.
Yeah,
and
snubbed at the Oscars just like The Wrestler was.
And upon watching it now, and I like from watching the trailers and stuff, I already got a good gist of like, oh, looks like a solid film. Watching it, like I'm with the course of people saying, how did this not win anything?
Yeah,
I mean, it was a strong year. I'll give it that,
but it didn't even get nominated.
Didn't even get nominated.
Completely snubbed.
Crazy. I think this will be looked at as one of those films that kind of went under the radar that people appreciate more with time.
Yeah,
I think, and it deserves it 100%. I highly recommend it to any wrestling fan, and really anyone who even has a passing interest in wrestling in general.
Yeah,
beyond.
And Beyonce.
And Beyonce. How about you, my friend?
I'm going to end this on a lighter note, and I'm going to give a cheers to the Eastern Conference Hockey League.
Oh, nice.
If you're local.
The ECHL, if you will.
That's right. That's what they call themselves now. You will know about the Orlando Solar Bears, an affiliate of the Tampa Bay Lightning.
Yeah.
And for people around here, it's just like, oh, we'll just pop out and let's just go to a Solar Bears
something
game.
to do.
Especially if you're not a big sports fan and you're just like, let's just pop out to this thing and have a good time. And, man, cheap seats.
Yeah.
Close.
Yeah.
Super close.
Yeah.
And
big hot dogs I saw. Got a video of this guy going down to Glizzy Town, stuffing it.
Just big old glizzies, baby. I tell you what.
Yeah.
Expensive ass hot dogs,
cool ice hot dog.
Yo, the Solar Bears got some dope ass uniforms and merch.
Let me do that meme. Always have.
Yeah. And it's just a good time. Man.
Shades is a cool mascot.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah,
he is. We got video of him rocking with us.
Uh-huh.
So I don't know how this goes for wherever you are, wherever you're listening. But if there's any kind of like local affiliate kind of sports thing that you can go to, whether it's like spring training or like, you know, semi-pro basketball, minor league baseball, you know, affiliate hockey games, stuff like that. That's basically my cheers is like mid-level shit that you could go out and support. These guys, you know, they're playing hard as shit. They're still playing, you know. They're not playing at the highest, you know, Mount Olympus level.
No, but a lot of them have or still have aspirations to. So they're kicking their own ass as much as they possibly can.
And they're still 10 times better than you ever will be.
Yeah.
So don't you fucking kid yourself. And think you're gonna go to a minor league baseball game and think you're gonna fucking hit off of any of those pitchers.
No.
They'll put you in a blender, boy.
Yeah.
So it's just a good time, man. It's just really fun and not very expensive.
Yeah.
So
I've heard a lot of people say that it's a good thing for parents to do. Get a season pass and just like whenever your kid's bored and you guys have nothing else to do, you don't feel like going to the movies or something. Pop over to the game.
It's better. It's a better time, I think. Yeah. Well, depends on the movie, but
sure,
definitely more or not as expensive. To do that.
Mm-hmm. You don't have to sit there and be quiet the entire time. You have a good time. Dance.
Get up, walk around. Dance.
You
know?
Yeah.
Invite other people.
Have some fun.
Have some fun.
Yeah.
That's what we need in this world. It's just a little bit of
fun.
Just more fun. You think we got it?
I think we do.
Well, not yet because we have to review these brewskis. So let's talk about the Bierstadt Helles. Right? Simple, clean beer. Simple, clean beer tasting beer.
Beer tasting beer.
What'd you think, Obi?
I love it.
Yeah.
I think it's exactly what it purports to be. It's a beer tasting beer.
Beer tasting beer.
Not too sweet, not too bitter. I mean, the biggest praise I feel like I ever give a beer is that it's balanced.
Yeah.
And that's what this beer is. I have really zero complaints. It's a 6 for me.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah. I'm going to have to agree also. Bierstadt is 2 for 2 right now.
Yeah.
6 out of 6. It seemed to be a good year for beer this year.
Seriously, yeah. Two unanimous 6 out of 6s back to back.
Had to do it.
Yeah.
Had to do it.
Yeah.
It's exactly. I mean, albeit the weird political stuff on their on their website aside, the beer itself is exactly like you said. It's exactly what it's purported to be: a well balanced, light beer tasting beer, perfect. Helles light, pale lager, however you want to describe it. It's perfect. Just easy to drink. And that's all I got for that. Yeah. Now I think we got it, right?
Yeah, I know we got it.
Well, if you say we got it, then it's over. This has been the One Beer In podcast for myself, Marco Dupa, for Adam Obesius Rodriguez.
Yeah, buddy.
Thank you guys for listening. Drink delicious beer and have yourself a beautiful evening.
We love you.